I'll tell you something. I think people for sure would have rather been watching at Bachelor in Paradise than the Cowboys game.
Yeah. You know how I described it? I said, you know that moment before kickoff, right? The first game of the season, you're like, we're gonna do it this year.
You just it comes over you. You just have this feeling of yes.
And then you realize how delusional you are.
And you see it start to just tick away with the clock.
Can I ask though, within the first minute.
I'm just curious, why? Like, how do you become optimistic again?
Because you're a fan and you believe. It's like it's like the new year. You start fresh. They're new players. You're like, this is it.
New binders,
yes.
New folders.
You've
it's
been
going to be good.
We're
going to study.
Yes. And then all of a sudden, he throws that first pitch.
28-17 was the final score against the 49ers. And I want to know how Ryan watches.
He was watching in the media room with Will, and it was very quiet and dark, and every once in a while you just hear, oh! And then there was some cussing.
Yeah.
And then I think there are probably some moments when Ryan thinks he can be back out on the field again.
Of course he does.
That has to be frustrating for him.
And then he stands up and realizes that everything hurts. But it's just so disappointing, you guys. And then when Jolene was on last week, she talked about going to a preseason game.
She did.
And how there was no one there in Cowboys gear.
Yep.
And yesterday, what you started seeing was these pictures.
It was red.
Sea of red. 49ers
So it makes
fans.
me question, like, are we losing the America's team label?
Yes.
Well, listen, it's been almost 20 years
sure.
since we've won a Super Bowl, and people.
Some people are still waiting. Some people are still waiting.
And some of us will keep waiting.
My husband would be one of them. However, yesterday he went to the grocery store during the game. He came home with all these groceries.
Oh, no.
He's like, the lady that checked me out said, "Sir, why aren't you at home watching the game? Nobody's at the store right now." And he's like, because the Cowboys are on.
And think about
that for him to say that was like huge. Because normally he's like you, it's going to be a good one. We're going to do good this year. I feel it. Look at Romo. He's tight. This is going to be awesome. And I'm like, oh, yikes.
And
this
think
is
about
awful.
how expensive it is to go to these games, right? $75 for parking. Tickets you can't even afford anymore.
The nachos
so it's
are
almost
$20.
like the people in Dallas are like, psh, which is why there are all these seats available for the other fans to come in.
It's still only the first game.
We got a long
Delusional.
We still want to believe the best.
Faith. Yeah.
Okay.
I'm going to have faith.
We'll see.
I think they can do it. I think they can reclaim the America's team status.
And this is coming from a girl that's not a native. I'm impressed.
Yeah.
This is good,
Actually,
Lisa.
you know, it's funny because I've always been a Cowboys fan. My dad was a big Cowboys fan. Like, this was back when
Did you go to
Tony
training
Dorsett.
camp in Thousand Oaks when we lived out there?
No.
Oh, my dad would take us I held Tony Dorsett's helmet.
Oh, my gosh.
When I was a little girl going to training camp.
Yeah, it was all about the Cowboys in my house. So,
Very
because
good.
they're America's team.
That's right.
They
And
are. We grew up in Southern California.
Well, they still have the prettiest cheerleaders.
They really do.